Okay, so anyway, there's like this pregnant chick. She's wearing like maternity clothes and getting on cravings and whatnot. Pretty standard pregnant shit. But like this is like a fairy tale. So she's also like lives next door to a witch, and also like the witch has like a mega sweet garden. So seriously, there's like some wicked hurricane of like beets and tomatoes sitting around being lust and shit up in this garden. But the lust shit of all is this patch of lettuce. But it's not just any lettuce, my friends. It is some kind of crazy super lettuce called Rapunzel. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, holy shit, isn't Rapunzel the name of that chick in some fairy tale? What a coincidence. You need to calm down, my friend. You're embarrassing yourself. But anyway, this pregnant chick is like staring out the window into the witch's garden, and she starts coveting the shit out of the Rapunzel over there. She's like, oh man, I want some of that shit so bad. I could be like mash it up in a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, throw some bread and butter pickles on top of that shit. Bam, 5-star fucking cuisine. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm being like really harsh on pregnant ladies, but the point is I'm trying to make is this is like particular pregnant lady is extremely unreasonable. She is so extremely unreasonable that when Rapunzel does not immediately teleport into her stomach, she decides that she's going to die. So she just sits there, right down, and starts dying, all sullen and shit. And her husband's like walks in, whoa, bitch, what are you doing, dying at me, woman? What the fuck? And she's all like, why? I want some special lettuce, or I'm going to sad myself to death. And the husband like was all dumb and shit, and his wife is unreasonable and like, wow, is like, well, I guess my only option here is to steal from my neighbor, the fucking witch. Not like there's a lettuce store or seeds I can plant or anything. No, this witch's garden is a single source of Rapunzel in the entire goddamn universe. So the husband goes ahead and jumps the witch's fence. She grabs a handful of lettuce and jumps out. He brings it to his wife, who has all her salad shit ready and waiting, and she's like, she eats that shit up. And he's like, awesome, now I can go to sleep. But nope, ain't happening. Wife wants more Rapunzel. Sorry, guy, you're unlucky. So he goes out to steal some more vegetables, but what do you know? I guess the witch installs some alarm system shit or something, who knows. Because when the dude shows up to get the lettuce, she's all like, nope. And she's like, come on, my wife is being so unreasonable. Help a brother out. She's like, oh, you can have as much lettuce as you want, but I get your firstborn child. And the husband's like, sweet, fewer responsibilities. The deal is sealed, and later the wife gives birth to a baby. And the witch teleports into the room, all like, this baby is named Rapunzel now, yoink! Just like Merlin in that other story. So then the witch does that sensible thing, which is like, put the baby Rapunzel in the tower with no doors and stairs or anything, and just a window like 20 stories up, like, that's what you gotta do. Which Rapunzel is supposed to let her massive hair down every time the witch wants to come up, so, which sounds like painful and repulsive, so, that begs the question, how did she get up there in the first place? Clearly the witch can't fly, or she would have been wasting her time climbing some fucking hair. Did she just, like, throw her really hard when she was a baby, or did she use some of those barrels from Donkey Kong, or what? I mean, she can fucking teleport. Didn't we establish that? Why is she wasting her time with all this fucking hair all over the place? Hair is just a glorified bundle problem, silky smooth problems. Anyway, one day the prince is like walking all over the woods. What prince, you ask? The fucking prince, okay? Every fucking fairy tale has one. If he is not mentioned directly, and then he's probably crouching some bushes somewhere being princely. But yeah, he's princing around and he hears Rapunzel singing some sweet shit, and he's like, oh man, I love singing. Where's the source of the noise? I want to put my dick in it. And he finds the tower and he's like, oh fuck, how am I supposed to get up there? If only there was some like those Donkey Kong barrel shit, I could just throw myself up there. But then like he hides behind a tree and the witch shows up and all Rapunzel, let down your braids, or I will give you some double AIDS. And she climbs up and probably molests her stepdaughter a bit and leaves. Normal shit, everything the witches do. And the prince is like, oh, he runs up the tower like, oh, Rapunzel, let down your hair, I must escape an angry bear. Then fucking boom, and the hair comes out. The prince climbs all nimble and shit, and he gets on the top and like, well, hey, Rapunzel's like, what's that? And the prince is like, oh, this is my dong. Rapunzel's like, what is it for? And the prince is like, it's for sexing. And Rapunzel's like, and the prince is like, I climbed your hair with my dick in my hands, don't make me leave here with my foot in your ass. So, like, the sex is great, and, like, the prince is like, man, I would like to have sex on a regular basis. How about we climb down your hair and go back to my place? And Rapunzel's like, you're forgetting something. You're forgetting the hair is attached to my head. How the fuck am I supposed to climb down? The prince is like, oh, I'll bring you a ladder. The prince leaves. The next day, the witch shows up, and oh, Rapunzel, let down your dreads, or I'll grind your bones to make you some bread. Oh, shit, wrong story, my bad. But anyway, she gets up, and the top Rapunzel is like, so, hey, how come it takes, like, much longer to haul you up? But it takes like a haul my secret lover, like, who you're supposed not to know about, like, so much less time, and the witch is like, what? That's it, cutting off all your hair, teleporting to the desert, fuck this, fuck everything. And then she ties her hair to the windows or waits for the prince to show up, and Why didn't Rapunzel do that? She totally could have climbed down her own hair, but I guess, spending her whole life in the tower doesn't make you very good at problem solving. But, whatever. Anyway, the prince shows up with a ladder. He sees the hair already waiting for him, so he climbs up. Only to have the witch jump out like, surprise, asshole, and he's like, oh, fuck this shit, I ain't going back to jail. He jumps out the window and happens to land in some brambles. It's okay, though, because he manages to break his fall with his fucking eyeballs. Can you believe that shit? And then he goes blind, obviously. So he, starts wandering all over the place, bumping into trees and constantly shit, whatever. Rocky Bullwinkle did a pretty good version of this, actually. But, so everything is, the prince somehow manages to get the desert, while Rapunzel is like, I guess because he wants sex so bad, and he has this sonar shit all of a sudden, he can find her, and meets up with Rapunzel. So he's now raising their 2 love children, and she sees him all blind and shit, and she runs over and cries on him so hard that the tears get in his eyeballs and fucking unblind him. Can you believe that shit? Magic tears. Only in fairy tales, ladies and gentlemen. And then he takes her back to his kingdom, and they live happily ever after, I guess. The moral of the story is fuck laughter, misery is the best medicine. What can you do about it?